everyone, and welcome back to episode 77 of Sooner Girl Sports Pod. If you can see in the background, if you're watching the video behind me, I have a new background. I'm actually visiting my friend Karen this week, and so I am recording in her OU space. And if you watched my episode with her last summer, she was the very first guest for my Crimson Chronicles series, the Fan Stories series. And we recorded right here in this spot. So if you watch that episode, you might reminisce a little bit seeing this in the backdrop. But cannot wait for you all to hear today's episode with my guest this week, Moses Orta, who is a flute player for the Pride of Oklahoma Marching Band. But before we get started on that and the Sooner headlines of the week, let's start off by thanking our show sponsors. This show is sponsored by Marvin's Place, a fine art gallery and listening room located in the Depot District in Ardmore, Oklahoma. Come experience amazing artwork, and on Friday nights, visit the Listening Room, an intimate and unplugged venue. We host singer and songwriters on Friday evenings from 6:30 to 8:30 p.m. Relax with a glass of wine or craft beer and enjoy some wonderful music. You can find out more, including links to their social media, music calendar, and all artwork and jewelry available at the gallery on their website at marvinsplace.gallery. Also, thank you to Therapy to Go in Ardmore, the funnest place in town to drive through for a drink, and you don't even have to get out of your car. They have a large variety of spirits as well as fountain drinks and snacks, and you can find them on Facebook and Instagram at Therapy to Go Ardmore. You can also call in your order ahead of time and pull right in, and they will put it in your car. And be sure and tell them that Larissa from Sooner Girl Sports Pod sent you for a free gift. Okay, on to this week's Sooner headlines of the week. Not a lot going on since all of the sports have died down for the summer. But on the day that this episode drops, we are 64 days until kickoff. So we are all on the countdown and excited for another football season. That's what's next on deck for us. But also before football season starts in the fall, we have volleyball and soccer that are starting up in August. The soccer schedule is already out, so you'll want to check social media to get out and support those girls. And the volleyball schedule should be coming out soon, so you can support those girls before football time is here for us. Okay, big news in college sports. The D1 cabinet has approved a new age-based 5-year eligibility model. I've mentioned this before, but it is officially happening now. You get 5 years of eligibility, no red shirts, no extensions. The clock starts at 19 years of age or at college enrollment, whichever is earlier. And exemptions for pregnancy, military, and mission work are available on a case-by-case basis. So that means a lot of changes coming up for our college sports. Now, I do believe this is going to be available for those who are still currently a student athlete. So those who just graduated, this does not apply for them, but if they are going to be a senior this coming year and going forward, this rule does apply to them. So that will be changing a lot of things going forward as far as recruitment. I know that there's been some schools that have had some commitments that have backed out and changed their mind due to this rule allowing current athletes to stay a little bit longer. So it will be very interesting to see how this plays out. But all in all, I think it's a good deal. Just a blanket 5 years, 5 seasons that you get, and that's all that you get. And there's no court cases and none of that kind of stuff. So it'll be interesting to see how it plays out going forward. Also, something interesting that I saw on social media this past week regarding SEC schools ranked by average home football attendance. Now, this was a graphic that is from the D1 ticker, and this just is the top 10 in the SEC. So there are 16 teams. This did not list the bottom, which would include Kentucky, Mississippi State. But the top 10 SEC schools, we rank number 9 in average home football attendance with 83,532. Number 1 is Texas A&M with 106. 159, and in that 10th spot is South Carolina with 79,334. Now, the reason I'm bringing this up is I know this is something that we have talked about on the podcast before. I know there's a lot of mixed feelings about it, but there are those stadium renovations coming up here within the next couple of years that will cause a reduction in capacity for our football stadium, somewhere to the tune of around 76,000, I believe. And then once that is done, from what I'm hearing, there is a quote phase 2 or phase 3 of the project that will include closing in the upper deck on the north end zone, which would add some of those seats back. However, they don't have the funding for that yet, and that is not even on the horizon. I think we're looking at least a 10-year window out before that would even begin to start. So just something to keep in mind for those of you who, like myself, have some concerns about the reduction in capacity, and of course some of those seats then becoming glassed in with suites. This gives you very much of a reason to be so. Again, Texas A&M at number 1 with their 106, 159. Then we have Texas at 102, 367. Tennessee's 102, LSU's at 101.5. Bama's at 100, and then just below that, Georgia, Florida, Auburn, and then Oklahoma at 9, currently at 83. So just something to sit on and think about as things are going forward with the stadium renovations. And of course, those of us like myself with season tickets who will be a part of the reseating process here in the next couple years. There's a lot of mixed feelings about that, and I'm just going to say this. A couple of things. One, I'm not saying renovations don't need to be done and amenities added and things like that. Not opposed to that at all. The stadium has definitely aged itself and we need to catch up. Definitely not disagreeing with that. I also do have concerns, like I said, with the reducing capacity. But if you are a season ticket holder or you have a ticket rep or someone that you can reach out to, highly recommend you doing that and letting them know your concerns and your questions and all of that. If you are a fan who have concerns and questions, don't necessarily know how to reach out to, I recommend visiting Soonersports.com and go to the staff directory and find someone in the ticket office or see if someone can direct you where to voice those concerns. I just think that it's very important to obviously, be supportive and look forward past the horizon to the way that things need to change and grow. But also, if you have concerns and questions, I think it's very important to do so, especially for those like us, like myself, who pay a lot of money for season tickets. I believe that we deserve to have our questions answered, our concerns heard, and things like that. So just going to leave that at that. Quick note on our men's basketball. Former Sooner Otega Owe, who transferred to Kentucky, where he played his last 2 seasons, was just drafted in the NBA draft last week by the Oklahoma City Thunder, so he is coming back to Oklahoma. If you remember from watching him in our basketball games the last couple of years when we have played Kentucky, there's been some interesting interactions between him and the bench or at the arena, just kind of some jabs here and there from Otega. So it'll be very interesting to see what kind of welcome he gets from the Sooner/Thunder fans going forward. Shout out to our female gymnast, Faith Torres, who has been nominated for an ESPY award for the best college athlete in women's sports. So that will be taking place later this month. So stay tuned to hear the update on our girl Faith. On men's gymnastics, our Sooner Alex Noel is headed to the U.S. Championships in August after a 6th place finish in the all-around and the qualifiers. So congratulations to him. Also, a few notes on the baseball front. I know we're all still basking in that national championship that we won last week. Just so incredible. But former Sooner Scott Mudler, who was a graduate assistant with the team this past year, he has signed with the Phillies and he is on to training camp and to work with that program. So congratulations to him. Also, former Sooners Jake Bennett, who is a pitcher for the Red Sox, and David Sandlin, who is a pitcher for the White Sox. They have been really showing out on the mound this past week in the MLB, and I know I've mentioned them before, but I just want to give them a shout out for making Sooner Nation proud at the next level. Also, shout out to our head coach, Skip Johnson, for being named ABCA National Coach of the Year. Also, in case you missed it, you can watch this online on Soonersports.com or on ESPN from the SEC Network on the ESPN app. The national championship team had a celebration at Kimmery Family Stadium last Wednesday night in front of 5,000 plus fans. What an amazing crowd was there at that event, and it was such an incredible event. Of course, got to hear from Coach Skip, Toby Rowland, a couple of the players, Trey Gamble. It's just such a cool thing to hear from those guys. So if you missed that, again, you can go back and watch that. Also, shout out to a couple of Sooner pitchers who made the roster for USA Baseball Training Camp, Cord Rager and also Xander Macarius. And an update on our baseball coaching staff. Our assistant coach, Todd Butler, is joining Kevin O'Sullivan's Florida staff as an assistant coach and recruiting coordinator, and he is headed to Gainesville after the national title run for Oklahoma with a large salary increase. So thank you, Coach Butler. He had a big role to play in getting a lot of the guys in Norman that are currently on that national championship roster. So best of luck to him going forward. Also, the rumor has it that Skip's son Tyler, who is a head coach at a JUCO in Texas, could be at the top of the list to fill that vacant role. Also, a couple updates on the transfer portal for baseball. It was just announced the day after the national championship. We did have a few guys enter the portal. Alec Blair, he is the freshman dual sport athlete who dropped basketball in the fall to focus on baseball. He did have a few appearances throughout the season, but he has entered the portal. Also, Drew Dickerson, Trent Collier also, but he is committed to Texas A&M. I missed him actually entering the portal, but I did see his commitment to Texas A&M. But he is excited to be going back to his home state, his home area. So best of luck to you, Trent. Also, I have heard rumors that there are a couple of other players that have also entered the portal. However, I was not able to find anything definite on that myself. So I'm not going to mention any names on that just in case. But as those announcements are made, I will be sure to update you on next week's show. Okay, also, I have a sound clip that I'm going to play for you this week. And this is something I have never done before, but I had one of my social media fellow friends who reached out to me with a very unique story about the baseball team after winning the national championship. And I have done an episode before very early on about superstitions and things like that. And this was just a really cool story. And so I wanted to share it. Had him send me a sound clip. And so I'm going to play that here shortly. But I want to tell you, it is from Chris Spidey Perez. If you don't know who he is, you can find him on Instagram, on TikTok. He does basketball trick shots. But he has always had a passion for helping and bringing joy to children. He's grateful and blessed to have tons of support around him and loves to share that support with others. He works at Doral Academy, a charter school in Miami, Florida, and it's allowed him to spread his positivity and inspire those around him. He has been inspired to create change in the lives of students. And if you follow him on social media, he is just such a fun guy to watch. Like I said, he does awesome basketball trick shots, but he is such a big OU fan. And when he shared the story, I knew that I had to share it on the podcast. So I hope that you enjoy this sound clip from Spidey Perez.
Chris, I reside in Miami, Florida. I work at a high school all the way in Miami, Florida. Back on May 30th, 2025, my seniors, who I have known since 2016, have graduated high school. My heart was shattered. Thankfully, Oklahoma baseball was still going on. But at first, it was hard to concentrate on the game because I was going to miss my seniors. But then I knew that Oklahoma would go on a run. It was June 1st. Taki would go on and hit a 3-run home run to walk off Georgia Tech, Atlanta. My goodness gracious. I was in disbelief. I said, what just happened? Wow. Then I go to Orlando for my end of the school year. We worked for all the trick shots I do, and they played Kansas. Oklahoma would go on to sweep Kansas. But the best part, that Monday, because Sunday, they were supposed to play Kansas when I came back from the trip, and the game was suspended due to the rain. So that Monday, the first day of summer camp began, and I had the camp kids, and we were outside. I was watching the game on my phone, and we were happy. I said, guys, one more out, go one more out. We're gonna win. We're gonna go to Omaha, and we all started chanting, one more out, one more out, one more out. We made the final out. We all high-fived each other and jumped up and down in celebration. I had tears in my eyes. We go on to play Alabama. The camp kids that day, 1-9-0. We go on to play Georgia. I had the camp kids that day, and I made a promise with them. If we beat Georgia, you will be tabbed Camper of the Week, automatic. And we did. Then we went on to play North Carolina. We won the national championship. We won game 1. It was Saturday. I had them like the day before. I told them, hey, let's see what happens. Whatever happens, happens. We hold our head up high, and we give thanks, no matter what, for being there. And then game 3 happened. I gathered them around in the auditorium. I told them, guys, we haven't lost a game. We haven't lost a game since we've been together, enjoying our summer and making memories with fun summer camp activities. We're going to win. I have a good feeling we're going to win today. And we all screamed, we believe! We believe! Boomer! Sooner! I had tears in my eyes. At 10:53 p.m., June 22nd, on the 1-year anniversary when the Thunder won the finals, we were national champions. We were national champions. I told my camp kids, I hugged them. I hugged them so tight. I told them, thank you guys for everything you have done. The memories. They haven't lost since I've had them. Wow. This type of will never happen again in our lifetime. This will never happen. And to me, being unranked And finishing number 1 was probably the best championship I've experienced as an Oklahoma Sooners fan. Besides the 2000 championship with Florida State, 13-2, which we won the game 13-2. You can't make this up, ladies and gentlemen. Sports. To my summer camp kids, shout out goes out to you guys, my class of 2026 seniors. I love you guys. This is for you guys. And I want to dedicate this podcast to my Lord and Savior Jesus Christ. I want to dedicate it to my seniors. And I also want to dedicate this podcast and this national championship to my summer camp kids. Without them, we lose this game.
Okay, just an update on our former softball player, Tia Malloy. She has committed to Arizona State. So that is our final portal entry from the softball team that has made their commit. Again, we had Cassidy Pickering, who is going to Texas Tech, and the Zach Hayes sisters, Riley and Berkeley, who have committed back to their home state of Michigan. Also, just a reminder, we have so many Sooners. I believe we have 10 Sooners in the AUSL softball league this summer. We have the OKC Spark, which is our home Oklahoma team. Coach Amber Flores is a former Sooner. The owner and CEO, Tina Floyd. I had both of those ladies on my podcast, episodes 8 and 9. You can go back and listen to those from last spring. Tina is also a big OU fan. And then our former Sooners, Sid Romero and Haley Lee, are on the Spark team, as well as former Sooner Kinsey Hansen. She is currently on the reserve list due to her pregnancy. But Spark is at home this coming weekend, and they have quite a few home games left through the end of the month. So be sure and check their schedule on their social media and get out and support those girls. And like I said, whichever team is coming to town to play the Spark, there's going to be at least one Sooner or more on the team, so you will want to get out and support them. Also, just a reminder, don't forget to check the soccer schedule. It is out on their social media, so be sure and check that and mark your calendars to get out and support the girls. Also, want to give a shout out to our tennis player, Evelina Lasovic, on winning the W15 Monchan in China. That is the second tournament title that she has won in the last 2 weeks, so congratulations to her. And this week on tour, again, we have Avelina Lasovic continuing, Gloriana Nahum, who's a junior, Alina Sherbanina, class of 25, Ava Katazarbarite, class of 25, Bharat Chaudhry, class of 26, also Laura Brunkel, who's a sophomore, Marcelina Podaluska, class of 22, and Flora Uritia, class of 24. So best of luck to all of those current and former Sooners on tour this week. Also, just a reminder, we have lots of club sports. As you know, I hosted on the podcast last week a lacrosse player, Lauren Clark. I have another lacrosse player, Gracie Johnson, coming up in a couple weeks. Also had the flag football girls on a few weeks ago as well. I've had on a hockey player, and we have rugby and so many club sports that I hope that you will go and check out their social media, give them a follow. A lot of those schedules will be coming out soon, and we'll have a lot of opportunity to continue to support a lot of Sooner athletes coming up this fall. Also, I forgot to mention on last week's episode, the Sooner MVPs of the week. So I'm going to read those from last week. This is something I post on social media every Thursday. You can catch the Sooner MVPs, but since I did not give them any recognition on the podcast last week, I wanted to do so now. So from last week's episode, my Sooner MVPs were, of course, our OU baseball team for winning the national championship in Omaha, as well as Jackson Willits being the tournament MVP. Also, shout out to Ryder Cohen, who was the Colo amateur at the U.S. Open. And again, Evelina Lasovic on winning in China last week as well. And then we had the Sooner men's gymnast who showed out at the Pan Am Champs in Rio. We had Francisco Velez Belendez, Hunter Simpson, Vitaly Gutierrez, and Yul Mulder. This week's Sooner MVPs of the week is our tennis player, Aviana Lasovic, for those 2 tournament titles the last 2 weeks. Okay, to end this segment with a Sooner fun fact of the week, Audra Cohen was the 2007 NCAA Women's Singles Champion and 2-time ITA National Player of the Year. And 9 years after winning that individual national championship, she became the OU women's head coach. So shout out to our head women's tennis coach, Audra Cohen. I'm so glad that she is a Sooner. She has done so many great things with the program. Okay, so thank you all again so much for all of your support. Remember, go and get your merch. I do have some crimson colored shirts coming to the merch shop soon, so be sure and stay tuned for that. But SoonerGirl.BigCartel.com, I have koozies, visors, tank tops, and other lots of fun things for your summer gear. Also, make sure you're giving me a follow on all social media platforms. I'm at Sooner Girl Pod. You won't want to miss all of the announcements that I put out there, like the July lineup, so you know who's coming up this month and going forward if you give me a follow there. Next week, we have PA announcer Taylor Maples. You will recognize his voice from OU softball. The week after that, we have Gracie Johnson of women's lacrosse. After that, we have golfer Audrey Risher. And the last week of the month, I will be doing an SEC Media Day episode with the guys from Sooner Scoop. So you won't want to miss out on that. Also coming up in August, I have our drum major, Christian Morales. I have a couple of tennis players coming up, women's wrestlers, volleyball players, a very special big name guest coming up quick. Football season is kicking into high gear as well. I've got a couple volleyball players, track girls coming up. You're not going to want to miss out. So be sure you give me a follow on all social media at Sooner Girl Pod so you don't miss any big announcements. And again, ladies, if you're not a member of our locker room, you will want to join in to be a part of our monthly online huddle, as well as our group chat and all the things. And there's advertising and sponsorship opportunities. If you are interested, you can email me at soonergirlsportspod@gmail.com or message me on social media. And you can go and find all of that information at my link in bio. It's my link tree in all of my social media profiles, again, at Sooner Girl Pod. Okay, to introduce this week's guest, Moses Orta of the Pride of Oklahoma. So Moses and I met through social media. I started following a lot of the band kids after getting more acquainted with the program and some of the staff last fall. But I started following him and we just kind of connected there. And I just love his outlook on life. He's just such a bright ray of sunshine and positivity. And I just wanted to hear his story. And I'm so thankful that he came on to share. But he is going into his sophomore year at OU, and he plays the flute in the Pride of Oklahoma. He's also involved in the Henderson Scholars Program. He loves using his platform to encourage others to be themselves and grow in their faith. And I love, love, love that about him. He became a Sooner fan. This is a very funny story, and I love hearing him tell it. His parents, who actually were born and raised in Austin, Texas, grew up Sooner fans. And so he was raised to do the same, and so glad that he was. His favorite Sooner memory is getting to experience a playoff game and hosting the first playoff game in Norman during his freshman year last year. So you can find him on Instagram and TikTok. Instagram, he is at sgw.moses, and you can find him with that same username on TikTok. But again, I will tag all of that in the show notes, and I will be tagging him on social media throughout the week. So I hope that you will go give me a follow, give Moses and the Pride of Oklahoma a follow as well. I hope that you enjoy my conversation with sweet Moses Orta, and I will see you next Wednesday where we talk sports. Well, I am so excited to talk to you because when I first came across you on social media, I don't even know, I think you just maybe randomly showed up in my timeline, but your energy is just contagious.
Thank you.
And your smile is just, it just brightens anyone's day that sees you, I'm sure. And so I said, I feel like this guy would be so much fun to talk to. So I appreciate you indulging me and coming on the show. So I do want to talk to you, of course, about, you mentioned your parents and you growing up in Austin. And so I want to talk about that, of course. And then we'll talk about your favorite Sooner memories and just a little bit about your time at OU. So we can just take it back to the beginning and talk a little bit about just how you were raised a Sooner fan and how you got involved in band and all of that fun stuff.
Okay. So, well, first, I don't even know how my parents are Oklahoma fans. I ask them all the time, and they're always like, we don't know. We just decided one day to be Oklahoma fans. So, and they were both born and raised in Austin, Texas. So I'm just like, that is so unheard of. That is crazy.
It very much is.
Right. Y'all just want to be different.
I love it. I love it.
Yeah. Yeah, so they raised me and my sister to be Oklahoma fans, and at first I when you're growing up you don't really understand it, especially living in Austin, to be an Oklahoma fan. So I was just like, well, yeah, I'm an Oklahoma fan, and I told everyone, but I didn't really know what that meant until probably middle school, because that's when you start really that's when you really start understanding what college is and all these different things. So I used to tell people I was a proud Oklahoma fan. When we went to tours at UT, I wore my Oklahoma shirt. I did not care. Everyone knew around me that I was an Oklahoma fan, and I was not ashamed to be one.
Love it. Love it.
But it kind of sucks sometimes when we lost and everyone would be like, oh, so what happened? What happened? And I'd be like, you know what? It's okay. It's okay.
Can't win all the time.
Right. We had to let y'all have some trophies for one.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
But yeah, so growing up, it was crazy, like, because I remember when I took these tours and the tour guides, they'd be like, "Oh, why are you wearing that shirt?" And I'd be like, "Well, I'm an Oklahoma fan. Like, I don't care about UT. I'm here because I have to be here."
Yes.
But yeah, like, UT was not like a thought in my mind at all growing up in Austin. But also, I just think I just wanted something different, like because
Yeah.
I grew up in Austin and I just know the town like the back of my hand. So it was just
For
like,
sure.
yeah, I'm definitely not going here. Like, because people from my high school go there, and I was
Yeah.
just like, I just want a fresh start. Like, I want to meet new people, and I don't want to wear
Absolutely.
that ugly burnt orange.
No, never, 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 never. Not a
Yeah,
stitch of orange clothing in my
right.
closet for sure.
Yes, same.
I love it. I love it. Okay, so tell me a little bit about just the band in general. I know I've talked to a couple of band kids in the past, but I know it's quite the process to even try out to be a part of the band.
Yeah,
And then of course being a part of it is so much fun and you get to do so many fun things. So
yeah,
talk a little bit about some of your favorite memories as far as if you want to talk about auditioning and then just being a
yeah.
part of the band your freshman year and all that entails.
Yeah. So I'm not gonna lie. After everyone in high school knew me and they knew I never wanted to pick up my flute again. Like after
Oh,
high school, I made it up.
okay.
Yes, like after high school in my mind, I was like, I'm never picking up my flute again. This is not something I want to pursue. Like I'm definitely not gonna have a career in this. Like
Uh-huh.
after high school, I am done. Like y'all are done seeing me with the flute. And I remember I don't even know how I auditioned, but I think it's
Uh-huh.
because obviously living out of state is kind of expensive to go to school at
For
OU.
sure.
So I'm not gonna lie, the only reason I did audition for the Pride at first was because
Hmm.
I wanted a scholarship.
Very
And
understandable.
yeah. And unfortunately, I didn't get that scholarship. But so that's like everyone was like, "So are you still gonna do it? Are you still gonna do it?" And I'm just
Mhm.
like, "Yeah, you know what? Like I'm still gonna do it. I made it this far, and apparently, like I didn't know it was hard to get into the Pride because like I'm not from Oklahoma. But when I went and like everyone was telling me, they're like, "Oh wow, like this is like a big accomplishment," and I'm just like, "Oh
Yes.
wow, like this is exciting." And like I don't know. I think I also didn't want to do band because everyone in high school, like, they call you like a nerd and all that good
Yeah.
stuff.
Yeah.
But like here, like when my first game, like I just like immediately knew like people care about the pride here. And I was like, this is
Absolutely.
like a huge difference. Like people are literally shouting like people's names. Like this is insane. Like people actually care. Like, and it was just
Yes.
so
Yes.
it was mind boggling to me. I
Yeah.
was like, wow, like people actually like they're like some people just go to see the pride, and I'm just like, that is so insane.
They do. They do.
And I just like, but yeah, like the audition process was good. Like, it was kind of not too hard, not too difficult. It's like something like I played in high school, but it
Uh-huh.
was definitely different. It was just like because well, like in high school you automatically get in, so
Hmm.
like every year you don't have to re-audition, and then when you're in pride every year you have to re-audition. And
Yes.
I'm just like, wow, we have to re-audition. So I remember
Yeah.
submitting my audition this semester, and I was like, I'm probably not gonna make it, just because I don't know why, like, but like just because it was a year after playoffs, so
Right.
obviously so many more people want to audition because it was a playoff year. Because we
Understandable.
made playoffs, so that makes sense, like why people want to audition. And I was like, I'm not gonna make it. Like that was just in my mind. Like I was just setting myself up. Like, oh, I'm not gonna make it. But then
Right.
I got the email like 2 weeks ago, and I made it. And I was like, oh my gosh! Like let's do this
Yay.
round two. But yeah, it was. I'm excited. I love the Pride. I don't regret my choice at all. Like there's sometimes like the long rehearsals, of course, but but I wouldn't trade it for the world. Like going into college with friends, because we have to be there like a week or 3 weeks early. Like
Uh-huh.
going into college with friends was so refreshing.
Oh, for
And
sure.
just knowing that like I had people who like cared for me, like,
Yeah.
and had my back 100%, it was very refreshing. So yeah, I wouldn't trade my decision for the world, and I'm so happy I got in again.
I love that for you. Well, congratulations.
Thank you.
And, that's something I hear from a lot of people that I talk to, obviously athletes, about having pre made friends, I guess, so to speak.
Right.
Like you come into your team or your band or your group of people and you're all share a common interest, which is obviously a good thing. And then, like you said, just having that support system is very important for sure. So, one of the things that you guys do, that's one of my favorite things. It's always a pretty big deal on social media for sure. And I'm planning to try to make it up in person for this. in August, but like the first boomer that you guys do before school, before the season, and you've been practicing out in the heat and all the things for so long. And I like to remind people how much you guys practice and what time that you invest in this, because there's no NIL money for you guys. And you guys your game days are a very long day, and not to mention the practices. So anyway, back to my original point with the first boomer. Talk a little bit about that and just how that kind of plays into the atmosphere and all of the hard work that you guys put in, and just what that feels like to have that accomplishment, so to speak.
Yeah, so I am going to be 100% honest. I knew the fight song because we had to learn it before we went to Pride. But like, this was something like, I kind of feel like they just threw us in it, like as freshmen, because they didn't tell us.
Makes sense.
They told us what first boomer was. Like, it's the first time we played boomer, obviously. But they didn't tell us what hand signals we had to do. They didn't tell us like what our instruments do. So I'm just standing there, and I just see, like, it's like, what? I'm like, okay, we're going there. And then everyone puts their thing up, and all the freshmen are so confused and lost. And I'm just like, oh my God, like I had no idea what we were doing. Like, I knew the song, so I was just playing. But then it was like so awkward because I'm like, oh my gosh, like they didn't even tell us about this. But like, it's kind of like a tradition. And I just think first boomer was so exciting. Like the amount of people that showed up. Like, because again, I'm from Austin, so I'm from Texas, so like I'm from marching band. Like this is where like the best of the best bands are. But like, I was just like, wow, like people are like here, like people are popping. But yeah, it was nerve wracking because I'm just like, everyone's looking. I think I have not like social anxiety, but I have like a thing in my mind where I'm just like, I'm standing here and I'm just like, everyone's looking at me and I'm doing the wrong thing. So they're probably like, what is he doing? He's going to do what he's doing. So I'm just like, oh my gosh, like what is going on?
Well, band is so like regimented, like everything goes a certain way. So I'm sure you feel like if you do one tiny thing different or wrong or whatever, I'm sure you feel like you stick out like a sore thumb. I can imagine. Well, I think that kind of plays into what I was going to point out next, in that you mentioned in your questionnaire that you love to use your platform to encourage others to be themselves and grow in their faith. Okay, so I've noticed that about you on social media, and I absolutely love that, because being yourself sometimes comes with the territory of, whoops, I made a mistake. Or whoops, I'm standing out in a crowd, or, you're being different from everybody. And I love to tell people that it's so important to be yourself regardless of the cost, because that is the only way that you will ever find people who truly love you for you, and that you will truly be happy in life. And of course, you mentioning your faith, I share that faith as well. And that's a big part of being comfortable in your identity. So just talk a little bit about like I mentioned, your happy demeanor, and you're always just so much fun to be around, to come across on social media. Just talk a little bit about how you use your uniqueness and just being yourself to encourage others to do the same.
Yeah. So growing up, I always went to church. I always, I always went to church. I was on the worship team doing XYZ, like just trying to be the best Christian I could, knowing that like, if everyone knew like I was gay, then, they probably wouldn't want me to be here, or they probably wouldn't want me to be on the worship team. And I just think that, like, because I remember, like, I always knew, like, I was, like, Christian, obviously, and I always knew I was gay. But I remember the first time I posted a video about, because my TikTok had no idea, and I had, like, all these followers, and I was just like, you know what, no one's going to ever find out. But I don't know why, like, one day I was just sitting at the desk I'm sitting at now, and I was like, you know what, I'm just going to tell my TikTok. And if people like me, they like me, and if they don't, well, at least they can unfollow me, they can block me, whatever,
Exactly, yeah.
I remember the TikTok I posted, and it blew up. Like, I was like, oh my gosh. Because I posted it, and usually after I post a video, I get off of TikTok for like 3 hours. But I posted the video, and then I went to church because we had a youth service that day. So after the youth service, like, I think this is like a 6-hour time span, or like that I didn't check TikTok. I go back, and it's literally like, it's blown up. And I'm just like, oh my God, I'm scared to look at these comments. But people were so supportive. Some people, they were,
Yeah.
But I think, like, so I don't want to think of myself as like an influencer or anything. I just want to think of myself as just someone trying to help people, just to get to see, like, you don't have to be perfect. You don't have to be this person who like lives this way just all the time. Like, you can make mistakes, you can be who you are, and still God still is going to see you where you are, and God's still going to love you.
I love that.
So I remember like so many people like in my DMs, just DMing me and just saying like, Moses, like, thank you for this video. Like, you really helped me. And like, I still like to this day get DMs, and I just like, I always just think about it. Like, I don't want to be the one like they see. I want them to see God through me. And I want them to just know that God loves them and that I love them, and that like, you don't have to change who you are to be like Christian, because if it's really meant to be changed, then God's going to change it, you know? And that's always something I live by. Like, if it's meant to be changed, then God's going to change it, because people can yell at me, people can tell me what they want, but at the end of the day, you're not God. Like, you're not the person I need to listen to, because I just got to listen to the man above.
That's
you know?
right. That's right. Well, and that's a good point to make. And that's something that I've always reminded myself over the years, across many different situations in life, is I have to answer to God. Right. And that's it. And so as long as I can answer to God and sleep at night and have that peace, that's really all that matters. So I truly love that you want to meet people where they are and encourage them to be themselves. I think that's very important. And I do think that it's just part of life, and it's one of the best parts of life to have people that truly love you for you. And you can, like I said, you can only have that if you're truly yourself. And so I think that that is wonderful that you stand on that platform, and that you use that platform to encourage people to be themselves, no matter what that may be. It goes back to just having confidence in what you're doing, and nobody's perfect, and sometimes we stick out, but you know, even like me, I grew up being a girl, being a sports fan, you know, and that's not sometimes what a lot of women do, but I'm just like, hey, I love it. You'll catch me most of the time in the living room with a bunch of men watching sports, because all the women are in there doing what women are supposed to do. And I'm like, well, sorry, I don't do that. I mean, but I think it's just, hey, I recognize what I enjoy and what my strengths are, and I'm just going to go with it. So you can either take it or leave it. So, okay. So I do want to talk some also about just some of your favorite memories so far this past season. I know as freshmen, you guys, did you get to go to OU Texas?
Yes.
Okay, cool. I was going to say, I know as freshmen, you guys don't get to travel a ton, but okay, OU Texas, awesome. We can talk about that for sure. And then I know you mentioned, obviously, getting to host a playoff game and how incredible that was. So let's just talk about some of the season. We can start with OU Texas.
So, OU Texas, oh my gosh. That was my first OU Texas ever.
Wow.
Like, in real life. Like, that was my first one ever. It was honestly probably one of the best things I've ever experienced.
I can imagine.
And I mean, obviously, I always tell people this when they ask me how it was. I say it was amazing. It was amazing to be there, but it sucked to lose.
Oh, gosh, I know.
And I say that because, like, I always watch it on TV. Like, it's a family tradition. Like, me and my parents, we invite like other people over, and we all watch it together. And like, you know, when you lose on the TV, it's okay. It's not that bad. But when you're wearing that Oklahoma across your chest and you're
in
a part of it, it stung real hard.
Yes, it does. It does.
But it was amazing. I feel like there were so many celebrities there. Like,
there were.
Was there. Like, I was just like, but yeah, it was amazing. I remember when our pregame, we start on the Texas side. So it was like, and the week of OU Texas, like that whole week, they literally have people walking around with speakers, like yelling at us, so we get used to how it's gonna feel. So like, they're literally like, there's people like they have these things, like these big speakers, and they're pointing them to us, and they're getting us ready so we can make sure we still hear each other, because it's going to be so chaotic. Yes, and I was just like, because I remember, I had an alternate my first season, so me and my friend Emma, we switched off every game. But I definitely got to march OU Texas.
Nice.
And I was like, oh my God, because the speakers were loud. And
I can imagine.
I'm just like, oh my God, is this really what it's like? And everyone's like, yes, but it's 10 times worse. And I'm like, what?
Yeah.
I remember it was crazy. There was like so many Texas fans, like because we're right here, and then the Texas fan seating is literally right here. So we're literally last person in our line is literally back to the wall, like pretty much like face to face with the Texas person.
That's great.
And I'm like, oh my gosh, better you than me. And we're like, the worst thing, or not worst part, like I get it, we have to be professional, but like not the worst part, but it's like hard not to say anything back, because they're like talking about
absolutely
about our moms, talking about us, and I'm just like, oh my Lord. I'm just like, Lord, cover my mouth.
Exactly. Yeah, Jesus, take the wheel.
Yeah, it was so exciting. I'm so excited for this year, because honestly, like, when there's a rivalry going on, rankings don't matter. Obviously, we were ranked 6. Texas was unranked.
Absolutely,
Like
yeah.
when you're playing there, it does not matter. But honestly, I'm so excited for the game this season. I'm excited
Yes.
for Parker Livingstone. Like he transferred.
Yes. Oh my gosh, that's going to be a different aspect for sure.
Yeah. So I'm so excited to just see the team this year. I think we're gonna. I honestly think we can make it to the championship. I think that I think it's gonna be a great season.
I do too. Well, and now that you've experienced a Texas loss in probably one of the worst ways ever, since you were actually literally in the middle of it, you deserve a Texas win in the Cotton Bowl because there is nothing like it. Just imagine that the worst day ever, and then just on the other side of the spectrum. So I will tell you, there's nothing like winning down there for sure. And so fingers crossed you get to experience that this year, because we are past due for a win in Dallas. I've been to one too many losses. I don't want to do that again.
And I guess the playoff game, that was mind-boggling. Like the concept that we were just hosting for the first time, because obviously it used to be a 4-team playoff, and they would travel somewhere. So it was electric. Like the drone show, the pregame, the fireworks, like just everything. And like that was like truly our first like night game in the Palace. Like
it was
the whole season, because everyone's talking about the Michigan game, but it started at like when it
started at daylight. Yeah.
Like this was the first real like Palace at night, and it was electric. Like
it was.
Stinger fans are probably some of the best fans in the country. Like they packed the stadium. They were wearing their crimson and cream. Like it was just electric.
It was a whole day event too, and I know it was for you guys because you guys were out and about early. And I got on campus super early that day, and it was a long, exhausting day for me. And but I've talked to several people about it since then. And I think they all pretty much say the same thing. It was one of the best days ever, except we lost.
Yeah, literally.
Here's hoping that doesn't happen again.
Yeah, it was so exciting. It was a long day, like a really long day. Because I remember like Oklahoma, like because we were supposed to have finals that day, because it was a Friday.
Oh, that's right.
And that was like our last day before winter break. So they literally had to cancel everyone's finals that day, and they had to move them up. And I feel bad for some people, because that was like some of their hardest finals, and they were like waiting to study. But then like they couldn't wait to study because they got moved to like Monday, or got moved to like Wednesday.
Yes.
But fortunately, I didn't have a final that day. But I feel bad for all my friends, because they were like telling me about it. And like I remember in my like regular finals, there was like random kids, but those were the kids who were supposed to take the final on Friday. So I just felt so bad, because I was like, I would have been so mad if that was
I would have too.
Like I would have been like, y'all are tripping. Like,
how stressful. I mean,
I know.
Oh my gosh, how crazy. Well, I have been to a lot of games, both in Norman and different places. And I do have to say, that was one of the most magical experiences that I've had. Definitely one of my favorite game day experiences. Unfortunately, we lost. But like you said, I think this season we have a great chance to make another good run. I am all about us hosting another playoff game for sure.
Yes.
Well, let's talk a little bit about your love for sports, because I know that you're obviously a football fan, and then you love women's basketball, and I know you love softball. And so we've kind of had a roller coaster of a season just overall in all of those sports this past year for you. But I think back on my college days at OU, which was before you were born, but I was actually in college when we won the national championship in football, and softball won the national championship that year. Also, it was the first female team to ever win a national championship. So I have a lot of great memories on how far everything has come since then, and then just, of course, living through all of that season. And I hope that you get to experience the same. But obviously, like I said, you love sports. You sent me your picture with Beatrice and Peyton, and I love those girls. And so let's talk a little bit about your love for sports. Kind of what are you thinking with basketball and softball? Just whatever you want to talk about.
Okay, I'll start with women's basketball. So I guess my love for sports, I don't even know. Like, I guess like a lot of people, like, it's typically not like, if you know what I mean, like gay people don't like really like sports, but like me, I don't care. I love sports. But I guess women's basketball, I remember that picture. Like, it was like my second week of school. Like, they had no idea who I was. I knew who they were. I knew who they were. And I was walking, because me and my friends just got back from, like, I think like a Taco Bell run, something like that. But we were walking back to her dorm And this was in the Jenkins parking lot. And I like
Okay.
passed by them and I was like, oh my gosh, like that's Peyton Barros and that's Beatrice Collins. Like I was like starstruck. And they were talking to some guy. So I didn't want to interrupt, but my friend was like,
Yeah.
just ask for a picture. They probably get it all the time. I was
They
like, you're
do.
right. So I
They
was
do.
like, hi, can I get a picture? Like, I'm sorry to interrupt y'all's conversation. And they were so nice about it. We took a picture. I posted on my story and said my night was made. And then Peyton Barros followed me. And I was like, oh my God, like this is so insane. So I was like, she literally knows who I am. And I remember after that, I DM'd her like a week later asking if there was like a way I could be like, because my dream was to always be a manager for OU softball.
Yeah.
But it unfortunately didn't work out this year. But then I was like, you know what? I'll ask Peyton if I could be a basketball manager or like just something around that aspect.
Yes.
And so, I actually emailed Jenny Barajek first, Coach Jenny, and she responded so fast. I was not expecting that.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah, and she was like, hi, Moses, we would love for you to be a part of the team and get to know the girls. And she was the sweetest ever. Like, she got me connected with other people.
That's awesome.
I guess, like, general managers and, like, stuff like that. People who oversee the basketball. And they got me in. And then I remember I talked to this guy, and I literally got to go to the OU women's basketball practices for, like, a month.
Oh, how cool.
So, I was like sitting there like in their practices. Like the first time, obviously I was nervous. I was so scared. But like after that, like it was so like the girls literally introduced themselves to me. Like they were just the sweetest people ever. Like so it was just amazing. Like getting to know them. Like I have some of them on social media, so like I always just like check in on them.
That's
just
so cool.
That. Like, but yeah, like it was insane. Obviously I was in SOTS as well, so I went to every home game.
Yes.
That was just electric. I just love sports, so that was so fun. Yes. And then I got to go to the SEC tournament, and then
awesome.
And then I got to go to the Sweet 16 as well.
Oh, that's so cool.
Just like in the Sweet 16, we literally stay at the same hotel. You know, a lot of the times I feel like we go to a big school and the athletes like can sometimes be like a little cocky. You know what I mean?
Yes.
The basketball team is just not like that at all. At least the women's. I don't know about the men's.
Right. Yeah.
At least the women's team, they're just so like down to earth. They like they're just super sweet. Like I was in a contest for my scholarship program called the Henderson Scholars. I like asked them, I was like, hey, I'm trying to win this competition. Can y'all comment on this video for me? And literally all of them did. Like, and I was just like, y'all are literally the sweetest people on this planet. Like y'all are so sweet. Like even sometimes walking to class and I see them, they say hi to me and I say hi to them. So it's just like this little like friendship like that like developed over time. And I'm very grateful for it because like I could like not use them in a sense, but like just like maybe to get better opportunities at OU.
Absolutely.
Just like I know they would help me out. And that's like very
cool.
refreshing.
I love that so much. That makes me happy to hear. Like I said, I did have both Peyton and Beatrice on the podcast back in the winter. And I had a podcast party in Norman back in February, and they both came just to celebrate with my 1 year celebration of the podcast.
Congrats.
And I invited Dr. Surratt, who I've met just throughout the year and other people that had been on the podcast, coaches, athletes. And I had several athletes show up, including those two girls. The track coach came, Coach Mark, the men's gymnastics coach came. Wow. Gosh, I'm sure I'm forgetting somebody, but Sammy came, the twirler, and Christian, the new drum major. And he had just been named, I believe, the new drum major about that time when I met him. So it was just so cool. Like you said, you meet people and you make connections and you know that they'll help connect you with other people and they get out and support you. And it's just truly, it's humbling, but you also feel so grateful that people are giving you the time of day to help you in whatever way. So that's just super cool. I think a lot of Peyton and Beatrice, obviously. And so I just love that to hear that from other people as well. Okay. So softball.
Yes. I tell people this all the time. I am the biggest Oklahoma softball fan on the planet. And I am a bigger softball fan than I am football. 100%. Like I feel like I just love what they stand for, you know, like they're unapologetically themselves. And what more can you ask for? Like people are going to yell at them, say all this stuff on Twitter and whatever. But at the end of the day, like they know that they don't get their worth from those people. They get their worth from the Lord. And that's all you can, like, that's all you can say. And I just love like the message of OU softball. Like I've just always been like the biggest fan ever.
Yes.
And like I remember my first game in Norman was like this year because I've never been to Norman besides like for college, and it was just electric. Like I was just like, wow, people are here. Like this is packed. Like I can see why they couldn't play at Marita Hines anymore.
Yes. Oh my gosh.
Yes, but it was amazing. I just love softball, I guess. Like, my dad
Me
was a
too.
coach, so I guess that's just got me into it.
Okay.
Yeah, my dad was a softball coach, and my sister played softball. And growing up, I
Okay.
played baseball. But it was just, like, it's fun to play baseball. But, like, no offense to any baseball players out there. I just hate watching baseball.
I know.
Like,
I don't disagree. It's so hard to watch sometimes.
it's so boring. I'm just like, oh my God, softball. Like, because softball is just so electric and fun.
It is
And, like,
fast-paced.
yes, and it's so fast paced. And I'm just
Yeah.
like, baseball, like, I'm sitting here for like 4 hours, like, watching.
It can
Like,
be long. I agree.
yeah. So, like, I just think it's amazing. And I guess some of my favorite memories from softball, obviously, like, I guess not in person, but like on video, like, I used to sit in my living room and I'd always watch every game, like all the big games. I remember we won the national championship in 2021. I will never forget when we lost to James Madison.
Oh my gosh, yes.
I will never forget. I literally was so mad. I was throwing things in my house.
Yes.
Like, no, we lost. We lost. And this is when I wasn't very like, oh, we'll be okay, you know?
Yeah.
And I was like, no, my world is ending. Like, we just lost. Like, it's so horrible. Like, but then we still won the national championship, and we won 3 after that. So
yes,
I was like,
crazy.
I was just like, crazy. This team is just so gritty. Like, I mean,
yes.
when you think of OU softball, you think of like these big names. But I always just like someone I always just like remind myself of. It's just like like Kai Minor or the Riley Boones, like the people who aren't like, well, obviously Kai's like a home run hitter and stuff like that. But like you think of like Riley Boones, and you think of like, she's just like so electric. Like,
yes, she is.
She was they call her the party starter, like the Abby Daytons.
Yes,
like,
absolutely,
you know?
yes.
Like, I just think it's so crazy, like, because like obviously people like Kinsey Hansen, Jocelyn Allo, just all these big names, Tiari Jennings, Jada Coleman. Like, you think of all these big names, but I always just like try to think of not the little people, but like the people who aren't on the posters, who aren't on front and center, because because if you really think about it, if we wouldn't have came back in the James Madison semifinal, if it wasn't for Riley Boone, like that hit over the right fielder, and she got a double, and it sparked the lineup up, you know. But and I just also think it's cool because like when I posted the video, like my New Year's resolution, like how to stay quiet, Riley Boone commented, and it was so insane, like, because we follow each other on social media, and I was just like, wow, these people are so humble.
Well, they really are.
Yeah, and I'm just like, wow, this is so insane. Like Nicole May, she like literally works like she works in student affairs.
Yes,
my scholarship is on the same floor as student affairs, so I run into her all the time. And I remember the first time I remember the first time I ever ran into her. I was like, oh my God, I'm so sorry. I'm sorry. Yeah. I was like, oh my God, I'm starstruck. I'm so sorry. And she was like, oh no, you're good. And then she told me, she was like, I think I've seen you on TikTok before. And I was like,
oh my gosh.
It's like, oh my God, girl, you're kidding. Like, nobody knows who I am.
I love it. Oh my gosh, that's incredible.
It's been amazing, like just knowing like all these different athletes, getting them like just giving me the time of day, like it means the most, because like a lot of people say I'm a a little crazy when it comes to like sports, but I'm just really passionate about it. Like
maybe that's why I clicked with you. I could tell.
I'm just so passionate. I don't know. I'm unapologetically myself, and if you can't handle it, it's okay.
I agree. I agree. I love that. Well, I know you said that you love softball more than football. And it's so funny to hear people say that, because I think about how far softball has come in your lifetime, you know, and I grew up watching OU football with my dad, OU basketball. And so obviously I know that football will always be my first love. Yeah. But I have to say that softball is right up there with football for me. And it has been, I would say, probably the last 10 or 15 years, but I just love it so much for all the reasons that you said. And like you said, all of the girls that I've ever met are just the nicest people. They're just so kind. And I've even had a couple of them recognize me from TikTok or whatever before. And I'm just like, oh my gosh, it is almost like, I can't believe they even know who I am. This is so crazy. But it means a lot when people who are, you know, like the stars of the school, like they're on another level, and they are kind and they recognize people like us and respect that we look up to them. And so I think that that's super cool for sure. Yeah. Yeah. It was so insane. Like, just like getting to, I feel like just being where I am, like, cause like, obviously Oklahoma was my dream school.
And when I got the email that I got in, my dad cried because like there were some times where we didn't think college was an option just because some dumb things I did in high school. But yeah, it was just like so like it was very humbling. Like I was just like, wow, like I can't believe like I'm going to my dream school.
I
And
love
on top of
that.
that, yeah, like and then on top of that, I'm in the Pride. On top of that, I'm in SOTS. On top of that, like I'm in an amazing scholarship program.
I love
Called the Henderson Scholars. Shout out to them. Like I love HSP. It's amazing.
I love
Just
that.
yeah, just all these different things that like I didn't think were possible at some point in my life, like are, and I'm just like, wow, this is so insane.
I love it. Well, the Lord always works things out for us and surprises us sometimes beyond our wildest imagination. So I'm so happy for you and your journey and just all the things. You truly bring joy to my heart just hearing you talk about all the things and
Thank
you just shining a light to be yourself and encouraging others to do the same. And that's just incredible. So
thank you.
I'm glad that you do that. So, okay, well, I do not want to cut you off at all. If there's anything else you want to share or say or talk about, have at it.
Okay. Just one more thing, I think. This is for everyone watching. Make sure you stay after the games for the Pride's post-game concerts.
Yes, I'm so glad you said that.
Yes, I mean, like you said, we work hard. Like sometimes I don't, like we're human. We're human.
For sure.
Mr. Britt, if you see this, I love you. But there's some days I don't want to get up, or I don't want to get out of bed to go to Pride, or I don't want to go to Pride because it's just hot. And I'm just like, what? Like, and it's just like, I have to think about it. Like, it's not just affecting me, it's affecting the people who are around me. It's affecting like the people who depend on me to go to their spot and stuff. So I'm like, I gotta go. Even though sometimes it's hard, I'm just like, you know what? Like, it's a team thing. I signed up for this.
Yeah.
Like I chose to do this, so no one's making me, but like, it's just like, it's like doing the right thing when no one's watching, like making sure that I'm showing up for my team. Absolutely. And just like just being the best version of myself I can. Obviously, sometimes we're not always going to be happy. We're not always going to be in the best mood. But it's just like I feel like I'm always just trying to be like spontaneous and just be happy. Just like don't let other people's attitude or don't let other people try to bring me down because there's already too much negativity out there.
You are exactly right. You are right. Well, I'm so glad that you reminded everybody about the post-game concerts because I do usually try to stick around for a little bit. I'm going to be caught in traffic anyway, so I might as well just sit there for a little bit and chill out and decompress from the game and all the things. So I don't always stay for the whole thing. I'm not going to act like I do. But I do, of course, always stay and do the chant. And stay and check out you guys afterwards because I know that is super important for you guys to be able just to showcase all of the hard work that you do. And like you said, there's lots of hard work that goes into it. And I cannot imagine being in those uniforms in the heat. And I do remember Hallie talking to me about the cool uniforms and the warmer uniforms and all that, but still. It's hot in Oklahoma. So, oh my gosh. Well, last year, Chauvin invited me to come with the band. I got sideline passes with the band, so I got to do all the pregame stuff and kind of follow you guys through the parade and all the things. And it was so much fun because, of course, I love being on the sidelines of the football stadium because, hello, that's awesome. But just seeing everything that you guys do before the game that I don't always experience because I park on the south side, come in my usual gate, go to my spot, and stay there. And so to just be on that side of campus and follow you guys doing the Boomer Bash, the Walk of Champions, all the things, and just experiencing that, it really brought me a lot of respect, even more so for you guys and all that you do. And it was an awesome experience. So I hope I get to do it again, Chauvin.
Got you.
Yes. But I am hoping to come up in the summer, like I said, for the first Boomer. I think that would be so much fun. So, and I definitely want to meet you in person because we're friends now. But anyway, I cannot thank you enough for sharing and telling all of the things. And I'm looking forward to the fall and to getting to meet you in person and just all the things to come. So
thank you so much for the opportunity to be on. Oh my goodness. I appreciate what you do. Like, this is amazing. Like, I appreciate everything. Thank you so much.
Thank you. It has given me so many opportunities to talk to people like yourself and hear your stories. And I call y'all the kids. I love getting to know the kids. I love you guys all so much, and everybody that gives me their time. It truly means a lot to me. So I cannot thank you enough.